So, for my project management class with Professor Whiting, I had the opportunity to plan a bachelor party for my best friend's brother. And so, this is a great opportunity for me to hone in on my project management skills and apply some of the techniques I learned in the course. And so, in the upcoming slides, we will talk about what techniques I applied, how the party went, and how we planned it. So a little bit of overview on the bachelor party. So I planned and executed a bachelor party for my best friend's brother. Um, he was happy for me to plan his bachelor party as it meant less work for him and the groomsmen. So my best friend, who is the brother of the groom, is actually the best man, and so he was really thrilled to sponsor me in this project just because that way he didn't have to do it. Um, I'm not on the wedding party, but it was still, I know them well enough that it was comfortable for me to, not be on the wedding party and still plan the project, just from kind of a satellite aspect. And so, a little bit more on the overview. The wedding party is mostly made up of current Bethel students and recent Bethel grads. So it's not a typical bachelor party, if you will. A lot of bachelor parties could be pretty wild, and this was not, just because I didn't plan it to be that way, just because they're all good Christian guys. And so the party was designed to be honoring to God's plan and to be respectful to everyone involved, and including the bride. And so that was another big factor when planning the project. So for the scope of the project, the scope was quite wide as there was some room for error because I did have a few months to plan it, but it really didn't. The scope didn't widen just because I was able to stay on track. One thing that was very helpful for me was the project plan. So the initiation phase, or the planning phase, when I did all the documents, such as the risk assessment, the project charter. That kind of gave me a good idea of what I needed to be doing, what I needed to get done, when I needed to do it. The work breakdown structure with the Gantt chart on Excel was very helpful too, just because I could see at what date when I needed things to get done. So that really helped me plan accordingly and execute it accordingly. So a few deliverables / requirements. As the people are recent grads and still in college, I wanted it to be under $100 for each attendee. So that includes a meal, an activity, and yard games. And really, if you want to spend more than that, they were welcome to, but otherwise that was the goal. And so another deliverable was a fun day that involved harmless activities. And another one is 2 activities and 1 planned dinner. So for the project proceedings / revisions, the project generally did go as planned. Overall, it went pretty well. There were some small revisions that I did make, such as coordinating a different time for dinner reservations. I adjusted this because the restaurant we wanted to go to didn't have an opening at 5 o'clock for a party of 10, and so that was really one of the better options in Fairmont, Minnesota, where we had the bachelor party, where we're from. It's the town we grew up in. So we wanted to stick with this specific venue. So initially we were shooting for 5 o'clock reservations for dinner, but that didn't work out for the Beantown Grill, which is the restaurant. So they told us that they had an opening at 6:30, and so that is what we went with. We went to dinner. We wanted to get to dinner earlier, just because that way we would be able to have time after to play yard games. But so we did end up going to dinner at 6:30, and it worked out well. We had a significant amount of time after dinner to play yard games. But otherwise, that was one of the bigger hiccups when it came to revisions that were made. So as you can see in the chart, I have the work breakdown structure, which I found very helpful just because it could tell me when I wanted to have something done by when I needed it done by. It just gave me a good schedule just to plan the party. And so we did end up having the party on 5/17/19, which was this Friday, and it was a really nice day in Fairmont, Minnesota for it. So that was good. So for the measurement of success portion of this project, we'll just run over a few things to highlight this. So as of the due date, the project was successful. The attendees and the groom were very pleased with the outcome of the bachelor party. Everyone said they had a good time. It was an overall success. And so the goals of the project were delivered and achieved. So the project was low cost, but it was probably $40 to $50 per person, which was well under the $100 budget, and they were very happy with that. It was harmless and safe. Once again, we were all Bethel grads and Bethel students, and so we wanted to have a wholesome, God-honoring party, and we're all Christian guys, so that was important to us. And so we did complete the planned activities of skeet shooting in the afternoon and dinner at Beantown Grill, and then yard games after. So it was a good day. So for the project lessons learned portion of this presentation, I just wanted to highlight how I was able to implement a few aspects of agile project management that I learned in this course. The first being customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So it was just a bachelor party, so we didn't have a contract that was signed and that serious. But I did want to be flexible with what he wanted, and I was able to kind of hear what he wished for, and so I had my idea of how the project should go, but it wasn't about me. So that was one thing that was really important, and that I learned in the class is through agile project management, the customer is what matters over contract negotiation. That's one of the things that'll make the project go exceptionally well. So another thing I learned was responding to change over following a plan. So when things don't go as planned, it is important to have a quick response that mitigates damage to the project. So whether it be rain or the cold or the activities you plan don't work out, it's always good to have a backup plan. And that was important for me just because it gave me a peace of mind throughout the planning and the executing of the project, that if one thing didn't work out, I always had a backup plan. So a few little points to touch on. It is important to have a risk mitigation plan that offers backup scenarios. So we wanted to initially stay with this restaurant, and we did in the end, but it was good to have other plans in case the restaurant didn't work out, just to have other restaurants in mind. And so one thing that I wanted to touch on is that project planning can dictate the success or failure of your whole project. So improper planning can easily turn a good project into a failure. And without the planning of work breakdown structure in the project charter, this project could have easily been a failure, and any project could be a failure.